I think governments are focused at the moment on the current crisis, and I think that's a terrible mistake because crisis is the new normal in the 21st century. We've seen it over and over again, whether it's weather-induced crises, economic crises, now this massive health crisis. And to just mention what Jamie commented on in a slightly different way, these are structural inequities that are being revealed. They have been many, many decades in the making. But crisis, every crisis, any crisis hits poor and vulnerable people more dramatically, more extremely. And so the notion of building resilience is really about preparing for the knowable. And not every future crisis is knowable, but certainly, as is predicted by almost everyone, the next great crisis will be caused by climate change. It will dramatically impact the world, the financial markets. And so we need to begin to address that issue, I think, in a much more effective way and a much more collaborative way across the world. Not only then do you prepare for what's knowable, but you have to build in advance the capacity to rebound more quickly, rebound more effectively, and then the capacity to grow and transform when something happens. So we've been talking quite a lot about things getting back to normal, but normal often has some of the major structural issues that caused the problems in the first place. So we don't want to go back to normal. We want to use crisis as an opportunity when it does occur to really grow and transform and do things differently.
We are going to face some really big political questions coming out of this. I mean, crises like this, as it did during the 20th century, the way we come out of it and the way we define it politically at the end of this, do we want to go back to a sort of more nationalistic agenda? Because if you look at all of the challenges, Judith laid them out, climate change, pandemics, whatever you want to choose, none of these will be national in their impact. And therefore, we're going to have a choice. Do we go to a very polarized world, whether technologically, in health, in the climate change agenda, or actually do we choose this to be a moment when, as we did in the 20th century after the Second World War, we actually chose to come together? And I think we would all agree that actually that choice can only lead us in one direction. I'm just very fearful that our polarized political world at the moment may take us in a different direction. And I think it's for all of us to argue for that coming together in collaboration that everybody has mentioned. It's easy, it's particularly at the moment with populist prime ministers and presidents, to blame somebody outside your own country for all the ills, whether it's Brexit or in this case, the WHO. WHO warned the world on about the 20th of January that this was going to be very nasty and there was no need to wait for things and get on with it. And countries either listened to that, Singapore listened, and it put in place tremendous changes. Germany listened, Korea listened, other countries didn't, and they've gone through a much worse pandemic as a result of it.